The call came while I was folding her laundry. Her voice was sharp, irritated, entitled. "If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes." I didn't answer immediately. I pressed the phone tighter against my ear and listened to the background. Laughter, a man's laughter, not my son's. Not unfamiliar either. Too comfortable. Too close. I stared at the shirt in my hands, one I had bought for her last winter. Cashmere, soft, expensive. A gift she had accepted without looking me in the eye. "I'm serious," she snapped. "We're all busy here." "We?" I smiled. A slow, quiet stretch of lips that felt more like a fracture than an expression. "Enjoy," I said. Just one word. Then I ended the call. I placed the shirt back in her drawer, carefully, like it still belonged to her, like anything still did. Across the hall, a door creaked open. Footsteps. "Mail!" Confident. He didn't bother hiding anymore, and neither did she. I stood still in the silence that followed, my reflection staring back at me from the darkened window. Calm, composed. Already gone! It hadn't started like this. Nothing ever does. At first, she called it expansion. Modern relationships need freedom, she told my son one evening, as if she were explaining a concept to a child. He didn't argue. That was his first mistake. I watched him nod, hesitant, eager to please. She always spoke in absolutes. He always folded. A week later, the man arrived. "Temporary," she said. "A friend, a collaborator, someone who understood her." I didn't ask questions, I observed. The way she adjusted her tone when speaking to him, softer, almost reverent. The way my son laughed a little too loudly at dinner, like he was trying to convince himself everything was fine. And the way the guest lingered. Too long, too close. Their hands brushed once. Then again. Accidents don't repeat with precision. One night I passed by the kitchen and saw them standing too near the counter, whispering. Her fingers rested lightly on his wrist. Not guilt. Comfort. Ownership. She noticed me watching. Didn't move. Didn't apologize. Just smiled, as if daring me to understand. That was the moment I did. This wasn't confusion. This wasn't a phase. This was replacement. And my son, he wasn't part of her future. He was a stepping stone she hadn't kicked away yet. I didn't confront her. Emotion is a luxury for the unprepared. Instead, I began to listen, to watch, to collect. Her phone was never far from her hand, but she had grown careless. Happiness makes people reckless. One evening, she left it on the table while stepping into the shower. I didn't hesitate. No trembling hands, no guilt. Just precision. Messages, photos, plans. They weren't hiding anymore. They were building something. Together. Without him. Without us. I found bank transfers next. Small at first, then larger. Money moving quietly from shared accounts into private ones. His name appeared. Again and again. I memorized everything. Account numbers, dates, patterns. Then I made my move. Quietly, legally, irrevocably. I contacted a lawyer, then another. I shifted assets, subtly, invisibly. Properties restructured, accounts frozen. Ownership clarified. Every document tightened like a noose she couldn't see. All in my son's name. All protected. And her access? Slowly, removed. She didn't notice. She was too busy chasing something new, something exciting, something temporary. At night, I lay awake, listening to footsteps across the hall. 2 sets, not one. And I realized something simple. They thought they were rewriting the story. They didn't know I had already reached the ending. The truth didn't arrive in a dramatic explosion. It came in silence. A statement, printed, final. I placed it in front of her at breakfast. She glanced at it, distracted, then paused. Her brow tightened. "What is this?" I sipped my tea. "Read." The room was quiet. My son sat beside her, confused. The other man leaned casually against the wall until he saw her face change. Funds inaccessible. Accounts restructured. Ownership revoked. Her name absent. "This is a mistake," she said, voice cracking slightly. I met her eyes. "No." A single word. Flat. Certain. She looked at my son. "This is your doing?" He looked at me. Lost. He hadn't known. He didn't need to. I had done it for him. "For us?" "For your protection," I said calmly. "And mine." Her composure shattered. "You can't do this!" But I already had. The other man stepped forward. Angry. "Who do you think you are?" I turned to him and smiled. "A witness." Nothing more. Nothing less. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't need to. The document spoke louder than anger ever could. "You moved him into this house," I said quietly, looking at her. "You called it growth." Her breathing was uneven now. "Panic, finally." "I thought we were evolving," she whispered. "No," I replied. "You were replacing." Silence. Heavy. Crushing. I stood. Slowly. Deliberately. "The house is no longer yours," I continued. "Neither are the accounts, or the investments you've been redirecting." Her lips trembled. "You planned this?" I held her gaze. "From the moment you stopped hiding." The man beside her scoffed, but there was hesitation now. Fear. "Good." "You can leave," I said. "Both of you." My son didn't move. He was staring at the table. Processing. Breaking. Rebuilding. She reached for him. "Say something." He didn't. For the first time, he didn't. That was my final move. Not control. Not revenge. Liberation. For him. For me. I walked to the door and opened it. No drama. No shouting. Just an exit. For them. Weeks later, my phone rang. Once. Twice. 10 times. 71. I didn't answer. Instead, I sent a single message. A photo. A villa. White stone. Glass walls. Snow-covered mountains stretching endlessly behind it. Switzerland. Silence followed. Then, nothing. No more calls. No more demands. No more illusions. I stood on the balcony, the cold air sharp against my skin. Clean. Precise. Like the life I had cut free. Some people mistake patience for weakness. They think silence means surrender. They never realize silence is where decisions are made. And endings are written. I didn't destroy her. I simply removed everything she thought she owned and left her with the one thing she couldn't escape. The truth. And the cost of it.